Last December, the United States and Ukraine agreed to a charter on strategic partnership. And today, your President and I agreed that the U.S. and Ukraine Strategic Partnership Commission would begin meeting this fall in Washington to deepen our cooperation in areas of security, the economy, trade, energy, and the rule of law. The United States also supports Ukraine's deepening ties to Nato and to the European Union. But again, we recognize they are your decisions, your choices, not ours, whether you choose to join the EU or seek to, or NATO. We recognize that how far and how fast to proceed on your choices is, again, a uniquely Ukrainian choice. It is not ours. The United States does not seek a sphere of influence. We're trying to build a multipolar world in which like-minded nations make common cause of our common challenges. The stronger our partners, the more effective our partnership. And in that spirit of partnership, I'm also here to offer my honest opinion. Friendship requires honesty. And the honest truth is that the great promise of 2004 has yet to be fully realized. Again, if the poet Shevchenko were here today, what would he be writing? What would he write about this moment? I'm sure he would be heralding the openness and pluralism, the freedom of the press, a model for your neighbors. I'm sure he would take pride in Ukraine's vibrant civil society and marvel at your competitive elections. And to those cynics who have asserted for centuries that this part of the world could never practice democracy because its culture and values are different, Ukraine today stands as resolute rebuttal to that centuries-old assertion. But I think he would also be wondering why the government was not exhibiting the same political maturity as the people, why communications among leaders has broken down to such an extent that political posturing appears to prevent progress, especially now, especially in the difficult economic times. Ukraine, in my humble opinion, must heed the lesson of history. Effective, accountable government is the only way to provide stable, predictable, and a transparent environment that attracts investment, which is the economic engine of development. That's why this Chamber of Commerce, I suspect, exists. Functioning democracies are more capable of committing to and implementing economic reforms, sometimes even painful reforms, that are necessary to stimulate economic recovery and economic growth. And I would note parenthetically, can you name me a place where democracy has flourished, where the economic system has failed? Mature democracies survive because they develop institutions such as a free press, a truly independent court system, an effective legislature, all of which serve as a check on the corruption that fuels the cynicism and limits growth in any country, including yours. And in a democracy, compromise is not a sign of weakness. It is evidence of strength. In my meetings yesterday, there was a clear recognition that much work remains to be done to make Ukraine more competitive and attractive to investors, from reforming your tax code to acting against corruption. The path to renewed prosperity runs through the International Monetary Fund, which is offering now a way out of the current crisis. But as you might guess, there are strings attached. My mother says, out of every crisis comes an opportunity. This may be your opportunity. The fund requires that your government, and your government agreed to, critical reforms to cut the budget deficit, revive a striving banking system, and phase out energy subsidies, which I know from experience is a very difficult thing to do. Carrying out this agreement requires very hard choices and tough action, but it will help put you on the road to growth and competitiveness. And as a politician, I understand how difficult these decisions are. But sometimes one has to ask why one is involved in politics in the first place. Whenever a young man or woman asks me about what they should be thinking about if they wish to enter public life, I say, ask yourself the first and most important question. What is it you care about that is worth losing over? What is it that you care about that is worth losing over? If you can't figure that out, then it's merely ambition that's driving you. Every country needs politicians who know what is worth losing over.